Greetings nerdy list aficionados, and welcome back to Top 10 Nerd. And did you think you were safe? That the pregnant lists were over? That you thought you would throw around the word fetish and it would end? Yeah, we have a fetish alright. A fetish for views. Alright, superheroes getting pregnant, the obscure edition. Get excited. I'm Sash and these are the top 10 superheroes you never knew got pregnant part 2. With of course the caveat that depending upon how deep down the rabbit hole you are, you may have known these. Let's get started. Number 10. Scarlet Witch and Nocturne. Now when people think of the Scarlet Witch and pregnancy, they most often think of the madness that was her and Vision's children. Children who weren't, then were again. But in some alternate universes, her offspring have not been so fraught. Nocturne is Talia Wagner, and she is the daughter of the Scarlet Witch and Nightcrawler. She was a prominent member of the Exiles team for a while. She would manifest a lot of her father's abilities and grow up with him and the X-Men, while her mom stayed on the Avengers. She would be a full-fledged member of the X-Men by 17 and on the Exiles by 20. Wanda and Nightcrawler. Thoughts, feelings, questions, concerns? Share them all down below. Number 9. Black Widow and MAPONE ROMANOVA. Once more Black Widow and another prominent love interest, this time Daredevil. They were a big thing. Now Daredevil and Natasha's relationship did not end on the best of terms in the main verse, and it doesn't seem to have on Earth 12121 either, as Natasha told her that the blindness which she inherited from her father was the only thing he ever gave her. Ouch. For some reason, MAPONE has her father's abilities. I guess we're saying that the chemicals that doused him altered him on a genetic level, or more likely they want some visual cues as to how she was his daughter, and Black Widow being, well, just a super well-trained spy couldn't provide any. Also, they're both ginger. Number 8. Rogue and Oliver Raven LEBEAU. Rogue strikes again. She can't touch anybody except when she can. Oliver comes from Earth 41001, where Gambit and Rogue's union has yielded a son. A son with his mother's abilities, but with the power to control them. Rogue and Gambit are married at the time of this recording, and maybe a child could result from that, and maybe they'll even be allowed to exist for a few years. That's before an inevitable retcon of some kind. It's always coming. Cause no kids. They make readers feel old, or something. Oliver Raven is a great name also. Sounds epic. Number 7. Starfire and Jake Grayson. So last time we talked about Starfire, we talked about Nightstar. Her and Nightwing's daughter in the Kingdom Come universe, but today we're going to another dystopian world. This one perpetrated by Dick Grayson himself, the New Order. So after Superman killed Batman, Dick Grayson detonated a device in the streets of Metropolis that nullified all meta powers and declared a mantra of humanity first. Well, I mean, he didn't really do that, but you get it. No more mutants. I mean, no more metas. He would start a relationship with Starfire, who still fell for him even though his device had deactivated her powers as well. Together, the two would have a son, Jake, and you can guess where this is going. Come on. He hates powers. He has a son. Of course, his son begins to manifest powers. And after pushing everyone away, even Starfire, who left him after he actively started hunting metahumans down, he needs to rebuild all his relationships after his son is kidnapped. Quality content. Number 6. Sue Storm. Now you may be going, are you okay? Everyone knows that Sue has kids. They're the first family. Reed shot their son with a coma ray. We all know this. But wait, what about the child she had with Namor? So Namor and Sue have been orbiting each other for years, despite what the 2018 run wants you to believe. So in an alternate universe, in What If number 21, the question was posed, what if the Invisible Girl of Fantastic Four married Namor, the Submariner? In this story, Sue gives in to the pull she feels towards Namor, leaving Reed, which sends him down a path of bitterness and rage. He has his chance for revenge when Namor comes to invite him and the rest of the team to visit him and Sue, cause she asked him to. Reed attacks him and doctors a video to make it look like he attacked them, which he takes to the UN. But Ben stops them by showing them the real tape. So Reed and Johnny go on the offensive and go down to Atlantis to start something. They're eventually stopped, but I mean, did she make the wrong choice? Reed actually kidnaps Sue, and it's only when she goes into labor and he sees how much she's suffering and that he's making it worse, and also how much Namor cares for her. He's been the best husband, like a foot rub husband, a run out and get you a cookie at midnight husband. Him and Sue are thrilled by the birth of their son, and Reed realizes that he has truly lost her, and vows instead to make sure that there is peace between their two realms so that their son can grow up safe. Number 5. Emma Frost and Ruby Summers. Ruby comes from Earth 1191, that being Bishop's future, and appeared in the X-Factor story Layla Miller. Her powers are a combo of her parents. She has eye beams like her father, but black ones that need a refractory period of about 90 seconds. And instead of being able to turn her body to diamond, she can turn it to ruby. Cuz Ruby would actually catch on a bit and appear in other alternate universe stories, such as Battleworld. There is a crowd out there who feel that Emma is a better match for Scott than Jean is. Can we see Emma defrosting enough to deign to have a child with Scott? Oh no. Number 4. Wonder Woman and Hyperman. So Hyperman is Wonder Woman and Superman's son from the Kingdom Come universe in the sequel series The Kingdom. Jonathan Kent, their son, would take on the alias of Hyperman, which was one that had already been used a couple of times in the DC universe for analog Superman characters. So, sad times. Jonathan was actually kidnapped the very day he was born. He was taken back in time by Gog to the year 1998 in the Mainverse reality. He was rescued by the heroes of his timeline but vanished, but not because he was gone, but because he was taken into Hypertime, where he was watched over by an older version of himself, who was the guardian of Hypertime. Number 3. Thundra and Lyra. Lyra is the She-Hulk from Earth 8009. She is the daughter of Thundra and the Hulk. So Thundra really falls more to the villainous side of things, and she used the Hulk's sperm, or rather cell scrapings, in a dystopian future to impregnate herself. Thundra in the main verse is from the future where femizons rule, and in a matriarchy where men have been subjugated. Lyra would actually prove to be decently popular, and of course there would be demand to see her square off against Jennifer Walter's She-Hulk. Let them fight. Number 2. Wonder Woman, Pre-Crisis and HYPPOLITA LYTA TREVOR. The pre-Crisis world was a very different one. In fact, Wonder Woman's entire origin was completely revamped after Crisis on Infinite Earths. And of course, the same could be said of Wonder Woman on Earth 2, as Earth 2 would be erased for a time after Crisis. On Earth 2, Wonder Woman would marry Steve Trevor, and the two would have a daughter, HYPPOLITA LYTA TREVOR. She would have some extra strength and the like coming from her Amazonian mother, and would be trained by her, but she would live in her mother's shadow until she tried out for the JSA, the Justice Society of America. And then she would break out a bit. She would end up forming a younger JSA with other members who were rejected from the main JSA for being too young and untested for the main team. Post-Crisis, Lyta would continue to exist, but she would now have different parents. Number 1. Rogue and Charles from Age of Apocalypse. This universe is the one that arises when Legion, David Haller, attempts to assassinate Magneto, but ends up killing his father, Charles Xavier, instead. This sets history down a very different path. Here, Rogue worked her way up through Magneto's ranks and became one of his most trusted confidants and eventually his great love. And he would discover that because their powers both had a magnetic base, just go with it, they could touch. This put him in the running over Gambit, who was also in love with her. Her and Magneto would get married and have a son, who they would name Charles after Charles Xavier. So those were 10 superheroes you never knew got pregnant part 2. How many of these did you know? Let me know down below. While you're down there, please subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. And of course, like, comment, all the good things. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.